And joining us this morning to tell us more about the new Straits Times is the group's Director of Marketing, Zoraida Muhammad, and founder and CEO of Garcia Media, Marco Garcia. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We mentioned very exciting stuff. The entire newspaper was different and really fresh. Now, what inspired this transformation in the first place?
I think that this is a process that newspapers globally are going through. And the idea is that a newspaper is now part of what we call a media quartet. I mean, if you are in the media business, in the news media business, you now have news that goes through the mobile telephone. Other people consume it online. Then there is a printed newspaper and there's a tablet. So there are 4 platforms. And we live in a world where readers are in a hurry and they want news when they want it, how they want it. And so the idea that news comes only to a printed newspaper is not what we do today. We present the news 24/7, just like you do with television as well. And people really want to have the ability to access their information when they want to access it. And I think a part of what happens here is this process of lean forward and lean back. During the day, most of us are tuned in to our mobile telephones that we have in our pocket and the computer. When we get home, it's lean back, take off your shoes, relax, read the newspaper, read the tablet, and we associate those moments with more relaxation, with a greater sense of, now give me the perspective. On the phone and online, I want the quick information. What happened in the market? Who scored a goal? And so that's the transformation that this is about. This is not just a redesign cosmetically, it's also a rethinking of the whole process.
The convergence of the newsroom and how we deliver and approach delivery in different ways through the different platforms.
Now, before we go into the convergence of the newsroom, I have to ask you, Zura, how did the NSTP decide it was time for a relaunch of sorts?
I think it's market dynamics. I think we are all changing. Our consumer have changed their habits in terms of consumption of information or news. So it has to be relevant, and to sustain business, I think we need to be relevant all the time. And people are not very digital in their mindset, especially the young people. So we need to sort of go along with how the dynamics of the market is. And from a revenue perspective, business-wise, advertisers are always looking for something new. They are looking for readerships, which now include also viewership, in all the mobile and the tablets that we have. So we need to actually address that because our profile of readers are very diverse and they're very time sensitive. I want this now and I want this tomorrow with analysis in it. So we need to offer those different things so that the brand engagement is still there. Forever, wherever you are, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. NST is still a top of mind when I want to read something in English, for example. So dynamic things like that, advertisers, and for readers, they're also looking for excitement every day, So you want change, And these are a newspaper or a platform that we use for people who read cover to cover. We also actually design it, Dr. Mario, in a way that people who are scanners, some people are just scan through things, and you still can get it from the New Straits Times, for example. So it's all about the market change, the global change, and more importantly for us are our advertisers. We're looking for new ideas on presenting their message to the consumers.
Interesting that you say that, because the first thing that caught our attention was, of course, the 3D glasses.
Tell us a little bit about that. What made you decide to go 3D? Usually we hear about movies or the 3D version. Now, never have I heard of a newspaper in 3D.
Okay. Before I answer that, I just want to tell the readers, get one today, because if you go to our office today, bring a paper and you get 2 tickets to The Immortals, the movie.
All right.
One person, 2 tickets, 1 newspaper. And the last few days, you will see that in there, we were taking pictures of people. And today those pictures are being printed. If your picture pops up, come to our office and give you some prizes in cash.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
So watch out, guys. If you see yourself in 3D in the New Straits Times today, head down to the Balai Berita, Jalan Rio, and pick up your 2 tickets to Immortals. Fantastic.
So going back to 3D again, creating the transformation with something new for us. The first actually in Malaysia to actually have our ads and our pictures in 3D. So that sort of create a bit of buzz to it. When we present on this, again, we see the world in 3D anyway, so it's like
But it's also the idea of creating fun with your newspaper.
Exactly.
It's a world of interactivity, and we want people to realize that the newspaper experience can be a fun experience. It doesn't have to be dull. So part of the 3D experience today is going to be bringing the newspaper to the younger members of the family and saying you can have fun with it.
Have fun with it. As advertisers, we're very, very excited when we share this with our partners. They will, you know, they say fantastic, and we had really overwhelming response to this, you know.
It does encourage the younger ones to pick up the newspapers. Now, Dr. Maya, being an international consultant when it comes to newspapers, are there any other newspapers in the world that actually have, 3D elements in their newspapers, or is the New Straits Times?
Actually, it's beginning to happen. But one of the first to do it was the sister newspaper in Singapore. The Straits Times in Singapore was one of the first in the world to do this. 10, 15 years ago, the British tabloids, like The Sun, tried this again, but it was rather premature, I would say. They could not do it technically like we can do it today. But I imagine that people were asking me the question yesterday, will we see more of this in newspapers? Of course we will, because I think the technology allows it. Advertisers, like Zoraida have mentioned, love it. Look at the advertising in the newspaper today. I think advertisers absolutely love the possibilities that their messages can have when you use the 3D. So I'm sure we're likely to see more of this.
Yeah. And I know one question a lot of readers are going to have is that if they miss the copy of the New Straits Times today and they don't get 3D glasses, will there be another chance? Will you be distributing them again?
If we, of course, these are in the future potentially. These are some of the areas that you want to play around with the newspaper again, especially among the advertisers. We can still offer this, and there are actually more to come later in terms of technology. What are the things that we're going to do? So this is something that we need to wait and see.
I foresee barcodes, etc., etc.
All of things like that we can actually, as Dr. Madhu said,
Augmented reality.
Yes.
That's what's all about. When you do it with a magazine and you see your favorite actor or actress walking towards you, it's a world in motion, it's a world in color, and I think that the media reflects that. It has to.
We see more than this, than just the 3D.
Now, yes, talking about that, there's more to this transformation. And of course, when people pick it up, they'll notice mastheads change. Yes, they see like 3D. Now, what else does PART take part in this transformation?
Well, if we deal with the cosmetics, first of all, you're going to see a rethinking of how the stories are told. There is hierarchy on every page. In the New Straits Times, if you are a reader in a hurry, and the average person spends about 23.3 minutes reading a newspaper today. It used to be 45, 46 when I began my career. So we have seen the reduction because of time constraints. So now the editors make choices for you. You get to the world section and you have the largest headline for the one story that editors want you to see first. Then there's a hierarchy, second and third. We have long stories, medium-sized stories, compact stories, and brief stories. So we've categorized how the stories are presented. Storytelling has become very important. The type is slightly larger, so if you are 60 plus, the readers in the audience were 60 plus, they'll be very happy. This is not 3D, this is reality. The type is bigger. You'll be able to see things better. Then you have better presentation of photos, more color, and info boxes, which are very important. These little boxes, and if you're a scanner moving rapidly to the newspaper, it tells you, why should I read about this politician? What is a short biographical sketch of this actor or these actors? So we have a newspaper that is good for the scanners who want to read fast, and for the traditional reader who wants to read in a more classic style. We offer 2 tracks, scanning track and the classic track.
And I'm assuming this then prompted the newsroom convergence. Tell us about that.
Newsroom convergence, I think it's conceptually having the same source of news, for example, but presented in different ways for different platforms, conceptually. And each platform has its own way of approaching, like, online is breaking news together with the mobile. In a few seconds you got it, The print has a little bit more time for analysis, for comments, etc. And the iPad has a different way of presenting things, more exciting.
It's more like a book. But to train the newsroom to do this, it's part of this convergence process. We begin by telling them, when you come to work here, you're not in the newspaper business anymore. You're in the news business. You're in the storytelling business. So not one platform is a protagonist. The story is the protagonist. So how are we going to tell the story in print? You do it one way in print, but you can have audio for online and for the tablet. You can have video, like you do on television. television is also part of this mix. I imagine one important bit of data that you would love to hear is that 92% of the people who read news on their tablets at night are watching TV at the same time. So this is good news for television. You are like a companion to the tablet. You're lying down on the sofa reading the newspaper, but you have your TV on. This is almost universal. 3 or 4 research studies are showing that TV and tablet are like a marriage, like a good marriage.
Not just marriage.
So there's a lot of changes in the media affecting every platform, whether it's television, radio. Radio is very popular these days too. The idea is how to seduce people.
Right.
When you have all of these offerings, so journalists have to be better. What you do now is more difficult to do than it was 10 years ago. The job you do here today. Because the whole idea is grabbing those people who have a lot of offerings, grabbing people who have little time, so you have to seduce, that's the word.
And strategically, a lot of planning is of editorial content delivery before it happens, you know, so that everybody knows exactly how we want to approach the news in different forms. Yeah.
So what else is the NCP doing to get people to not so much understand, but sometimes, you know, when you flip through paper, it takes time to familiarize yourself with a new product of sorts.
Yeah.
What else are we doing for our readers?
Well, first of all, I think if you see some of the changes that we have done in the newspaper, you know it's still New Straits Times, but it's refreshed, it's, you know. So what we want to do is that if you see the design, I think Dr. Mario and the gang was looking into that. It's actually seducing the first page. What we offer inside is actually not something like new to a lot of readers, because we cannot actually forget familiarity. For example, we still have London Times, we still have our streets, all the regular things that we have on your daily basis. And we, marketing, know exactly what the readers want from NST and enhance that. So if you see it, it's the same news, it's the same things that you probably like to read every day, but in a different approach, in different colors, a different approach of reading it. To me, it's easy reading, easy navigation, as you say, pleasing to the eyes. You know, I had very good answer from Mario on this.
Basically, I mean, when you look at the front page of the newspaper, when I began my career, which was about 40 years ago, you had 35 seconds. People spend 35 seconds on the front page just looking around. Right now, it's 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, the average person decides, I like, I don't like, I go, I don't go. That's the first point. The second point is, obviously, this is the main story of the day according to the editors.
Yes.
But you'll be surprised the number of people who will see, oh, Shakira is on page 62. They start on page 62. So we have lost the ability to really present the news to patient people who are going